Okay, so I want you to imagine this scenario for a second. Just you're living your life, right? You're a father, a craftsman, a blacksmith specifically, and you have a quiet, pretty unremarkable life.
You keep your head down, you do your work.
Exactly. You hammer your iron, you pay your taxes, and then one day your son, your own kid, he walks up to you. But he doesn't ask for money or advice.
No, the request is a lot more specific and infinitely more terrifying.
It really is. He demands a knife.
Yeah.
And he's very particular about it. He says he wants one with an extremely sharp edge. Now, as a parent, I mean, your alarm bells are just screaming, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's immediately unsettling. It's not just a request. It's a disruption of the entire domestic order. A child demanding a weapon from a parent is a sign that, safety has left the building.
So you hesitate. Of course you do. You ask why. He doesn't answer. He just sort of wears you down. And maybe you think, okay, he's a blacksmith's son. He wants to learn the trade. So you make it. But the second he gets that handle in his hand, the entire dynamic in the room just flips.
It flips completely.
He looks you right in the eye, holding the weapon you just forged for him, and he says, "Go to the king. Ask for the princess's hand in marriage for me, and if you don't, I will cut your head off."
It is such a shocking opening. The story we're talking about today is called The Blacksmith's Son and the Sorcerer's Spell. And, while it has all the classic fairy tales, stuff magic, princesses, shape-shifting, it opens with this incredibly violent psychological crisis.
It's basically a hostage situation at the dinner table.
It is, exactly.
And that's what we're really digging into today. We've got this fascinating ancient text, and our mission for this deep dive is to unpack the really specific and weird mechanisms of magic in this world, the brutal negotiation tactics, and the way this story handles the whole idea of survival. Because honestly, it feels like everyone is just trying to survive everyone else.
It really is a narrative about leverage. From that very first moment with the knife, every single character is trying to gain leverage over someone else. The son over the father, the king over the blacksmith, the sorcerer over the apprentice. It's just a constant power struggle.
So let's get into that first one. The blacksmith. He's staring at his son, who's holding this razor-sharp knife. The source material gives us this incredible little internal monologue. He describes the situation as being caught between a deep well and a deadly ditch.
The classic rock in a hard place. But I want to pause on his calculation here because it's so grim, but it's very rational. He thinks, okay, option one, I don't go. My son kills me right here in our own home, anonymously.
And he sees that as a shameful death, like dying in your kitchen because your kid snapped. That's not a story anyone tells.
Exactly. It's obscure. It's a tragedy that nobody remembers. So then he looks at option two, going to the king. Now we have to contextualize this for a moment. A blacksmith asking a king for his daughter's hand in marriage. That isn't just rude.
It's treasonous. It's a death sentence. You don't just walk up to royalty and say, hey, my kid thinks your daughter's cute.
Precisely. The king will almost certainly have him executed for the sheer audacity. But, and here is the kicker in his logic, he decides the king is the better option, because at least he dies with honor. He'll be remembered. He'll be the blacksmith who dared to ask.
He chooses fame over obscurity. He figures, if I'm going to die, I might as well make it a headline.
It speaks to this really deep human desire for significance, even when you're facing total annihilation. He's terrified, of course, but he's also thinking about his legacy. So he gathers his courage, leaves his son, and goes to the palace.
And just as he predicted, the king is furious. The text says his entire body burned with anger. He's ready to call the executioner right then and there.
Of course, this blacksmith is batting way out of his league.
But then enter the minister. Every good king in these stories needs a crafty minister to whisper in his ear, right?
And this minister provides the second crucial lesson in leverage in this story. The king is reacting emotionally, with rage. The minister is reacting politically. He leans over and whispers to the king, "Wisdom lies in killing the snake without breaking the stick."
I love that phrase, killing the snake without breaking the stick. Let's unpack that. What does that actually mean here?
Well, it's all about reputation management and soft power. If the king just executes a poor blacksmith for asking a question, what happens? The people gossip.
Right, it makes him look tyrannical, weak even.
Insecure, exactly. The minister's saying, don't use brute force when you can use strategy. Eliminate the problem without causing any collateral damage to your public image. Don't make a martyr out of him.
So he uses this other great line, Why use poison when sweets can kill?
Why use poison when sweets can kill? It's so chillingly pragmatic. It sounds like something out of a modern corporate strategy meeting, doesn't it?
It really does.
It essentially means give him a yes, but wrap that yes in a condition that absolutely guarantees his failure. It's the soft no. So instead of an execution, they give the blacksmith a task. They say, sure, your son can marry the princess, but first,
He has to perform a deed no one has ever done before and no one has ever seen before.
the ultimate stalling tactic. It's brilliant. They just assume it's impossible. They're sending him on a fool's errand just to get rid of him without getting any blood on the palace floors.
And it works, at first. The blacksmith runs home. He's just thrilled. He's not headless. He tells his son, good news. We just have to do the impossible.
And surprisingly, the son is totally game. He puts the knife away and they pack up and leave the village to find this unseen deed.
This is where the story completely shifts gears. We go from a domestic thriller to a political drama, and now we're entering the realm of the surreal. We're in the hero's journey part of the story,
Right.
but the imagery here is, well, it's not Disney.
No, it borders on body horror. They walk into a dense forest and immediately encounter the rule of three. Three strange sights, each escalating in intensity.
Okay, let's walk through them. Sight number one. They see a man under a mulberry tree. But he's not just sitting there, he's cooking. He's frying fritters in boiling oil. But the fuel source is...
He has thrust his own leg into the furnace. The text is very graphic. It says flames are bursting out of his foot. He is using his own body as firewood to cook his food.
That is just horrifying. And then he eats the fritters.
It creates this bizarre, closed loop of consumption. He burns himself to cook food, to feed himself so he can keep burning himself. It is absurd, it's painful, and is definitely something no one has seen before.
Of course. The blacksmith sees this and immediately thinks, this is it. This is the skill we need.
It's such a visceral representation of the cost of magic, or maybe even the cost of labor. You literally burn yourself up just to sustain yourself.
But the mulberry man says no. He says, I can't take an apprentice, go to my master.
Yeah.
So they keep walking. Next up, a man under a banyan tree. Same deal.
Same mechanic, different menu. This one is frying jalabis, those sweet, spiral orange treats, using his leg as the firewood.
And just for our listeners, jalabis are delicious. They're sticky and sweet. So the contrast between this sugary treat and burning human flesh is just wow.
It's meant to be unsettling. It creates a real dissonance. And again, this man defers. He sends them further up the chain of command.
So finally, they reach the third guy. He's under a berry tree. He's making jaggery from sugarcane juice. Same method, leg in the furnace. This must be the master, the sorcerer.
And this is where the deal is finally struck. The blacksmith begs him to teach his son this skill. The sorcerer agrees, but the terms are incredibly ominous.
Wait right there.
He hands the father a key and points to a locked room. He says, lock him in, come back in 1 year.
And the father just agrees. I mean, let's pause here. You just saw three guys burning their own legs. One of them, the master, tells you to lock your only son in a room and just leave him there for a full year.
You have to remember the pressure he's under. He has the king's impossible condition hanging over his head. In his mind, he has found the solution. He has found the unseen deed. He thinks he's saved his own life and secured his son's future. He's so relieved he's not looking at the massive flaming red flags.
He's blinded by desperation.
Completely. He just needs this to work.
Talk about willful ignorance. So the dad leaves, the year passes, and now we cut to the son's perspective inside that room. And it is not a classroom.
It's a death trap, a dungeon. The text says the master never comes back. There's no food, no water, no lessons. The boy is starving, he's thirsty, and then he looks around the room and he sees human bones scattered on the floor.
That is a harsh wake-up call. He realizes he's not the first apprentice.
He's just the next log for the fire.
This is the real turning point for the son's character, isn't it? Up until now, he's been either demanding and arrogant or just sort of passive.
Right. The text says he cried at first when he realized he was trapped. But then something shifts. Survival instinct kicks in. And you have to notice the tool he uses to escape.
He finds a large bone on the floor. And the text makes a point of saying that the tip of this bone was sharper than the knife he had.
It's incredible irony.
That's a perfect callback to the beginning.
It is. He started this whole journey demanding a sharp knife to threaten his father, a tool of aggression. Now, the only thing that can possibly save him is the sharp remains of a previous victim, a tool of desperation. He has to literally dig his way out of his own tomb using the evidence of his master's cruelty.
He digs day and night. Finally, he breaks through the wall. But he doesn't break out into the forest.
No, he breaks into the room next door. And the contrast is immediate. He goes from a dark, bone-filled dungeon to a room with carpets, curtains. It's luxurious.
And a sleeping girl.
And this is our introduction to Sahira, and the reveal is fantastic. She is the sorcerer's daughter. She wakes up, there's that initial moment of shock, but she very quickly becomes his savior.
And she's not just a love interest here, she's the real mentor. The sorcerer was never going to teach him anything. Sahira is the one who actually steps up.
Right.
And I love this next detail, that the source material actually quantifies their magic levels. It feels like we're suddenly in an RPG video game.
It really does. The text specifies that the father, the sorcerer, burning his leg outside is at level 14, but Sahira, she's at level 16.
Level 16. Why is that specific number so important?
It establishes a clear hierarchy of power. It tells us, the readers, that the daughter has quietly surpassed her father. While he's outside making a big, flashy show of burning his leg, she's inside actually mastering the art. It suggests that real power isn't always the spectacular thing you see on the surface.
So she decides to help him. She feeds the boy and teaches him everything she knows. The real apprenticeship happens in secret, in that room. And he stays there for 2 years.
1 year past the original deadline.
Right. And then finally the blacksmith returns to the berry tree, and the sorcerer's just sitting there, totally nonchalant.
The sorcerer's reaction is so chilling. He says, "Oh, I've just been so busy making jaggery for 2 years. I never had time to check on your son." He fully, 100% expects the father to open that door and find a skeleton.
Can you just imagine the look on the sorcerer's face when the blacksmith comes back out with a living, breathing son?
But they have to be sneaky. Sahira tells them to wrap the boy in a big cloth to hide him as they leave. And as they're going, she gives them one crucial rule.
This is the classic interdiction in folklore, isn't it? The one rule you absolutely must not break.
Exactly. And the rule is, do not use the magic I taught you to earn money until you are far, far away.
Basically, don't flash your cash in the same neighborhood where you just robbed the bank.
Precisely. You need distance. If you use the magic nearby, the sorcerer will sense it. It's like setting off a magical flare.
But of course, they don't listen.
They barely make it down the road, they reach a green field, and either greed or maybe just simple necessity takes over. The son decides to show off what he's learned.
He tells his dad, okay, watch this. I'm going to turn into a bull, a really strong one. You sell me to that landlord over there.
This is the first transformation we see, and it introduces this very specific, very important mechanic about the rope.
The rope. The boy warns his father, he says, sell me for a good price, but whatever you do, you must remove the rope. Do not hand me over with the rope still on me.
The rope is the most important symbol in this entire section of the story.
So the dad does it. The son becomes this magnificent bull. He sells him to a landlord for 55 rupees, which seems like a pretty good sum. The landlord is skeptical at first, but then he hooks the bull up to a plow and its machine. It does the work of 10 bulls.
The landlord is thrilled. He pays up.
And the father remembers the rule. He insists on taking the rope back. As soon as the transaction is done and the landlord turns his back, the bull bolts, runs back to the father, and transforms back into the boy.
Leaving the landlord with nothing but 55 rupees poor and a cloud of dust. It's a magical grift. It's a con.
It's brilliant, but they're still too close. They set off that magical flare. The sorcerer finds out. He realizes his daughter betrayed him, taught the boy magic, and now he is furious.
So he disguises himself. He takes the form of an old fakir, a holy beggar, a mendicant, and he waits for them up the road.
And the boy, he's getting cocky from his first success. He decides to do it again.
This time, he transforms into a camel. But notice the devaluation here.
Yeah, that's interesting. He tells his dad, ask for exactly 9 rupees. He went from a 55 rupee bull to a 9 rupee camel. Why so cheap?
It could be a few things. Maybe he senses the danger and just wants a quick sale.
Right.
Or maybe a camel was just worth less in that marketplace. But I think it shows a degradation. The more they abuse the magic for quick cash, the less it's worth.
But the instruction is the same. Keep the rope.
Always keep the rope.
So the dad approaches the fakir, who is of course the sorcerer in disguise. He offers the camel for 9 rupees. The fakir agrees immediately, pays the money. But then, the snag.
He demands the rope. This is a masterclass in using social pressure. The father tries to refuse. He says the rope wasn't part of the deal. But the fakir immediately appeals to the crowd that's gathered. He makes a big show of it. I paid the full price. The rope is included. And the text specifically says the crowd around watched.
The dad just folds. He crumbles under the peer pressure of a bunch of random strangers.
He does. And if you think about the blacksmith's character, this makes perfect sense. This is a man who chose to face a king instead of his son because he was worried about a shameful death. Public opinion is his kryptonite. He cannot stand there and be called a cheat by a holy man in front of an audience.
So he hands over the rope, and in doing so, he hands over his son.
He hands over his son's soul, essentially. The rope is the mechanism of control. Once the sorcerer has the rope, the boy is trapped in camel form. He's a prisoner all over again.
This leads us right into the climax of the story. The boy is captured, but we, the audience, know something the sorcerer doesn't.
We know he was trained by Sahira,
Who is a level 16 wizard compared to her dad's level 14. So the boy is technically stronger. How does he break free?
The story implies there's a moment of opportunity. The sorcerer is leading the camel home. Maybe he gets complacent for a second. The boy, using his superior training, chants a spell, breaks the rope's influence, and transforms.
Into a pigeon.
And now the chase is on. The shape-shifting duel. This is such a classic trope in folklore, isn't it? The magical chase scene.
Like the sword and the stone.
Absolutely. It's a battle of adaptation and wit. The boy becomes a pigeon to fly away. The sorcerer immediately transforms into a hawk to hunt him. It's pure predator-prey logic.
The pigeon dives into a pond and becomes a frog. The sorcerer instantly becomes a heron to pluck him out. It's so rapid fire.
It shows that the sorcerer is powerful, but he's reactive. He's always one step behind. He's always chasing. The boy is the one who is being inventive. And then the boy makes this really interesting tactical shift. He leaves the animal kingdom entirely.
He becomes a ring and slips right onto the finger of a village girl who's collecting clay by the pond.
That is such a brilliant move. It's essentially using a human shield. The sorcerer, in his hawk or heron form, can't just attack the girl. He can't cut off her finger in the middle of the village to get the ring. He's stuck. It forces a pause in the combat.
But eventually the chase has to resume. The boy becomes a pigeon again, but this time he flies straight for the ultimate sanctuary.
The king's palace.
And in a final, brilliant move, he transforms into a single golden thread and lands right inside the king's crown. I mean, talk about seeking political asylum.
It's a genius strategic move. He positions himself literally on the head of the highest authority in the land. He makes himself part of the symbol of power.
The sorcerer, disguised as the faker again, marches right into the court and demands the king give him the thread.
The king is totally confused. What thread? He checks his crown, finds this stray golden thread, and tries to hand it over. But just as he grabs it, the thread breaks apart.
It shatters into hundreds of prayer beads all over the floor.
Chaos. The beads scatter everywhere.
Yeah.
And the fakir, the sorcerer, he loses his human composure. He drops to the ground and starts pecking at the beads like a bird. And this is the fatal mistake.
This is the opening the boy was waiting for.
Yes. One of the beads transforms back into the boy in his human form. And as the sorcerer is distracted pecking at the floor, the boy transforms him into a rooster.
A rooster, that's so diminishing.
It's humiliating. He turns this powerful, terrifying master into a common barnyard animal, and then the boy, still human, strikes the rooster down, kills him. It is brutal, and it's final. He doesn't just defeat his master, he executes him in front of the king and the entire court.
It's a complete reversal of the beginning of the story. The boy started by threatening his own father with a knife he didn't earn. Now, he uses magic he did earn to kill the evil father figure who tried to enslave him. And he stands there, over the dead rooster, and basically says to the king, ta-da!
He argues, quite correctly, that this battle, this incredible magical duel that just happened right there in the throne room, is the deed no one has ever seen before. And he is absolutely right. The king is stunned.
The king really has no choice here, does he? I mean, this kid just turned a guy into a chicken and killed him in front of everybody. You don't say no to that guy.
You do not. And besides, the condition was met. The boy reveals his identity. I am the blacksmith's son. And he claims his prize.
The wedding happens. He marries the princess. But wait, the source text does something really interesting with the language here. It refers to the bride as Princess Sahira.
Yes, this is a fascinating convergence. Sahira was the sorcerer's daughter, the one who saved him in the forest. But at the wedding, the text seems to imply she is the princess.
So what's the theory here? Did he just marry the sorcerer's daughter and she was given the title of princess? Or was the king's daughter also coincidentally named Sahira? Or, and this is my favorite theory, did Sahira maybe shapeshift and take the princess's place?
It's ambiguous, and folklore often blurs these lines to make a thematic point. But I think the most satisfying reading is that Sahira, his true mentor, and his partner, the level 16 mage, ends up by his side. Whether she replaced the original princess or the text simply unifies the two figures, the point is he marries his equal. He marries the person who actually empowered him and helped him survive.
They rule together. And since the king had no sons of his own, the blacksmith's son eventually inherits the entire throne.
Talk about upward mobility. He goes from a bratty kid with a knife in a blacksmith shop to the king of the entire realm.
And the text makes a point of saying he ruled with wisdom, honor, and great respect. He's not the same angry, demanding boy who we met at the start. The journey transformed him.
Well, he learned the cost of power, didn't he?
Yeah.
He learned what it feels like to be the fuel in the furnace, to be the one locked in the room. That tends to make you a more empathetic leader.
So to wrap this all up, the story gives us a few pretty clear morals at the end. Courage overcomes challenges. You need the right mentors. A big shout out to Sahira, and, promises and honesty matter.
All true, but I think the deepest lesson, the one that really sticks with me, is about the rope.
Yeah, let's go back to that for our final thought, the rope.
In the story, the rope represented autonomy. When the boy was a bull or a camel, the rope was the only thing connecting him to his freedom. It was his agency, his control over his own form.
And his father gave it away for 9 rupees.
He gave it away because of social awkwardness. He gave it away because a crowd was watching and he didn't want to make a scene. He sold his son's freedom to avoid a moment of public discomfort.
That's a really haunting thought for us today. I mean, we might not be turning into camels or bulls, but we are constantly in situations where we are selling something, our time, our skills, our labor.
Exactly. And the question this story leaves us with is this. In our own lives, when we negotiate a contract or when we take a new job, or even in our relationships, are we remembering to keep the rope?
The rope being our boundaries, our non-negotiables,
Yeah.
our ability to say no.
Yes, your control over your own soul, your own self. If you hand over the rope just to close the deal, or just to please the crowd, or just because you're afraid to look difficult, you risk becoming a beast of burden for someone else. You become owned.
So the final thought for you, the listener, is this. In your own life, are you the owner of your own soul, or have you accidentally included it in the price?
That is a question to ask yourself.
That is definitely something to chew on. Next time you're in any kind of negotiation, think about the blacksmith, the camel, and the rope. And don't give it away. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
It was a pleasure.